want justice for Grace Ann.
It looked like a suicide. A 19-year-old girl found dead in her West Knoxville apartment with a single shot to her head. But Knoxville police say there's more to the story of Grace Ann Sparks, and the man who reported her death knows it.
10 News investigative reporter Cole Sullivan explains this case that is a first of its kind ever to head to trial in Tennessee. A warning tonight for viewers, this story contains graphic details.
It's a story so unusual, Knoxville police gave their detective an award for seeing it through. When Chaz Terry began investigating a suicide call at this West Hills apartment, KPD says he could tell something was off. Records show 19-year-old Grace Ann Sparks shot herself in the bedroom with a .357 revolver. But a man in Indiana called 911 to report it. And now Hayden Berkebile faces a charge he killed her.
You know, it is really unusual.
KPD says Berkebile and Sparks had a relationship since before she turned 18. And the KPD detective says Berkebile exerted sexual control over the victim, causing her to engage in dangerous and demeaning acts. He says Berkebile knew Sparks had been suicidal for years, and the then 27-year-old crafted a manner by which Sparks would kill herself for his viewing pleasure. In late September 2019, the detective says Berkebile told her, "I want to kill you." And he was video chatting with her on FaceTime when she pulled the trigger.
They're going to look forensically at all of the data that's available, both from the respective cellular devices as well as what's available out there in the social media world.
Defense attorney T. Scott Jones and others we contacted say there's never been a case like this in Tennessee, a case where a man more than 300 miles away is charged with the murder of a woman who shot herself.
Did he create an unjustifiable substantial risk by his actions and by his words?
A grand jury indicted Berkebile for negligent homicide and false reporting. The trial is scheduled for late September, 2 years to the day from Grace Ann Sparks' death.
When we called, Hayden Berkebile told us he wasn't available to talk, and we haven't been able to reach him again or hear from his lawyer. If he's convicted, Robin, the false reporting charge actually carries more prison time than criminally negligent homicide. It means you could spend 2 to 8 years in prison. A big part of this story is also the family that Grace Ann left behind, and Robin, you spoke with her mother today.
I did, Cole. Candace Sparks is trying to make sense of her daughter's death. We spoke with her about Grace Ann and the man who's now facing charges.
Grace Ann had a heart of gold.
Candace Sparks shares story after story of her daughter with the tender heart, the bluest of blue eyes, and curly blonde hair.
She was champion of the underdog. You know, people could pick on her, but they couldn't pick on her friends.
After high school, Grace Ann moved from Cookeville to Knoxville. She finally got the horse she always wanted and had plans to go to vet school at UT. But she never had a chance to live out her dreams. Grace Ann Sparks shot herself.
You know, she was so excited about her plans. And I just lost it. I fell to the floor.
It had to be shocking then.
Yes, that's the thing. It was out of the blue. I couldn't believe it. But then I found out that there was more involved.
Knoxville police say while Grace Ann pulled the trigger, Hayden Berkebile is to blame for her death. Police say the two talked online for years, starting well before Grace Ann turned 19. They say he encouraged her to kill herself for his viewing pleasure.
Why did this person decide my kid needed to not be here anymore? What made him so special that he gets to decide that?
Prosecutors hope to convict Berkebile on negligent homicide and false report charges. The case would be a first of its kind in Tennessee. What is your hope that will come to pass?
Justice for my daughter. I hope that this person gets the maximum sentence allowed.
Candace says there's a lesson for every parent in Grace Ann's story.
When you give your kid a smartphone, you're essentially giving them a plane ticket to anywhere in the world, an unsupervised plane ticket.
2 years after her daughter's death, Candace chooses to remember Grace Ann as the girl who could light up any room.
There's no no end to what she could have accomplished. I want her to be remembered as a light. She was a light in a world that sometimes was really dark.
The trial is set for September 29th, 2 years to the day when Grace Ann Sparks died. If you or someone you know is struggling with thoughts of suicide, there is help. Please call this number. It's 1-800-273-8255. It is free and confidential. We also have resources right now at WBIR.com.